Chessington World of Adventures is one of the premier family theme parks in the United Kingdom. But is it the country's best park for that demographic? Find out in this review. The property originally opened back in 1931 as the Chessington Zoo. In 1978, the Tussauds Group purchased the zoo. After years of declining attendance, Tussauds added a theme park in 1987. This included a rebrand of Chessington World of Adventures, which has been known as ever since. In 2007, Tussauds was taken over by Merlin. Today, they are the main player in the UK theme park market. Their signature park is Alton Towers, but they also own Thorpe Park and Legoland Windsor. The latter two parks and Chessington all serve the London market. Merlin has strategically marketed all three parks differently, so each has its own niche. Thorpe is marketed as the thrill park for teens and adults. Legoland is marketed mostly for kids. Chessington is marketed towards families, while also leaning into the animal aspect the other two parks lack. At one point, the park dipped their toes into the high thrill market. In the late 1990s, they added a top spin in Ramsay's Revenge and a top scan in Samurai. Both have since been removed from the park, but the park has continued to add the occasional family thrill ride. This is accompanied by several themed lands. The theming and atmosphere are arguably this park's biggest strength. Each area is well done and has its own distinctive style. Now let's run through the lands. There currently are 10 available. Most have been altered or rebranded from their original iterations. Adventure Point is the park's most basic area. This originally was known as Market Street. It serves as a central hub of sorts for the park. You'll find pathways branching off to the larger, more elaborate areas, but this section still has a fancy carousel and a tree as its centerpiece, as well as some shops and restaurants. Mexicana, which was previously known as Calamity Canyon, is one of many western areas out there. This one is more festive though, with its multicolored banners and buildings to complement the familiar architecture. Land of the Tiger is a Chinese-themed area. The name was changed from Mystic East to its current name when the flume was rethemed. As a result, the Tiger Rock log flume and its large statue serves as the land's focal point. One thing you'll notice with this park, especially with the newer and renovated areas, is that this park loves large stone statues. And you know what? I love them too. They are striking set pieces that are stunning to see both on and off ride. Forbidden Kingdom is an Egyptian-themed land. All the structures appear as if they were made of stone, and they are embedded with hieroglyphics. This includes the large statue around the base of Croc Drop. Shipwreck Coast is a nautical area with rides themed to boats and/or water. It was previously called Smuggler's Cove and Pirate's Cove, before going with a more general boating theme rather than piracy. Wildwoods is the feel of a classic European town. One of the inspirations was Transylvania, hence why the area was known as that for the first 2.5 decades. Land of the Dragons is a fantasy area. It is meant mostly for kids, but it has the Dragon's Fury roller coaster running around the perimeter, which adds a lot of kinetic energy to the land. Rainforest is another smaller area for the youngest guests. This one has some greenery and animals peppered among the kiddie rides. Wanyama is an African village that leads to the park's safari ride and hotel. Their newest land is the world of Jumanji. There is not much shade here, but the land is otherwise very cool. It has a lot of Easter eggs from the film franchise. Then all eyes are drawn to Mandrill Mayhem as it runs around the perimeter, especially when it navigates the helix around the Jaguar Shrine. Merlin had been adding IPs across the chain. Chessington had gotten some individual attractions around them in the past, but this was the first time the park received an entire area around one. This was very well received, so much so that the park will get 2 more IP-based lands in 2026 and 2027 respectively. 2026 will have a kids area themed around Paw Patrol. 2027 will see the recently closed Wild Asia section converted into a Minecraft land. Based around one of the most popular video game franchises of all time, this land has a lot of potential. Now let's run through the ride lineup. It is a really deep collection for kids and families. It is just limited in terms of thrills. The park currently has 4 roller coasters. The newest of the bunch is Mandrill Mayhem, a B&M wing coaster, but this is not like the other installations. This one is a family shuttle coaster. The reverse spike has some weightlessness in the back seats. The second launch through the station has sneaky power. The barrel roll is slow and chock full of hang time. Then the train stalls out in the far helix, leading to some crazy lateral hang time. If you love hang time of any sorts, this is the ride for you. Dragon's Fury is my favorite of the park's coasters. This is a Mauer spinning coaster with a creative and sprawling layout. There are several sudden drops along the way that have nice zip, particularly if you take them sideways or backwards. And due to this ride's strict weight limit, there's a good chance you'll have an off-balance car, leading to oodles of spinning. Vampire is the park's oldest operating coaster, and is a classic. It is the only aero-suspended coaster in Europe, although it was massively overhauled by Vekoma in the early 2000s. This gave it floorless trains. These trains are more open, but they swing less than the older ones. Still, there are some turns that'll fling you sideways. And I love the wooded setting. Just know the ride's a bit jolty at points, which can cause some headbanging if you're not prepared. The final coaster is Rattlesnake, a Mauer wild mouse. This is one of the better installations, as it has minimal braking, so the laterals in the first half are intense. Then the dips in the second half offer small pops of airtime, and there's some theming along the way as a bonus. I do wonder about this ride's long-term future though. It has a 1.4 meter or 55-inch minimum height requirement. That makes it the most restrictive ride at this park and not accessible for a majority of the park's audience. We do know the park has 2 new coasters in the way. The aforementioned Paw Patrol area will include a much-needed kiddie coaster. This fills a key gap ever since the park closed Scorpion Express. Then the Minecraft area will be anchored by an indoor coaster that is rumored to be an intimate multi-dimension coaster, much like Uncharted at PortAventura. This is a really cool model that is easy to theme, and it features some unique trick elements, all while remaining perfect for families. Moving on to the dark rides, the park has a few options. Gruffalo River Ride Adventure is a spinning boat ride. The plot is that a ferocious monster known as the Gruffalo is outsmarted by a mouse. It is mostly a screen-based adventure, but there is the occasional and very large monster animatronic. The theme is loved by kids, but locals miss the original Bubbleworks. Tomb Blaster is a long-shooting dark ride. This one is a mixed bag. Some parts are impressively themed with statues. Others are dark with little to see. But there are plenty of targets at all times, and they are easy to hit given the laser sights. Then, there is Room on the Broom. This is a cute walkthrough based around a children's story. For flat rides, there are a handful of smaller spinning rides. 2 I want to highlight. Ostrich Stampede is an SBF techno jump. This one is not as wild as others out there, and it only travels forwards, but is still an enjoyable bouncing motion, and it offers laterals throughout. Cobra is a Zamperla disco coaster. These rides blend solid spinning and some weightlessness. The ride is currently closed though, but it will reopen in 2027 after the Minecraft area is completed. Then this park also has a notable drop tower and Croc Drop. This is the park's tallest ride at 84 feet or 26 meters tall, so it offers some decent views of the nearby area, and it takes place in an iconic crocodile statue. While the ride is mild in terms of power, the placement and visuals make the experience. Moving on to the water rides, this park is 2 flumes worth trying. Tiger Rock is the larger of the two. Built by Mach Rides, this one is a course tucked among the trees. Then the final drop pierces through a giant tiger statue. And if you're worried about getting wet, do not worry. This one provides a comfortable sprinkle. River Rafts is a junior flume, but adults can and may be interested in riding. That is because you pass multiple animal statues and, more notably, live exhibits. This includes monkeys that can pass overhead. The final ride I want to know is Zoofari. This is a safari truck adventure through the zoo area. It is the best way to see the animals. You get up close to several of them, particularly the giraffes, and this is paired with some nice narration. This is much shorter than the other safari rides I've done elsewhere, but everything else has very high quality. Alternatively, there is a footpath behind the hotel if you'd prefer to see the animals that way. While the park's attraction lineup is excellent for kids and families, there is one component that is not so great: capacity. This is a similar issue to another well-regarded family park in the United States and Idlewild. Chessington's top rides have really low throughputs, leading to long lines most days. This is most evident with their roller coasters. The queues for these are 30 to 45 minutes minimum most days, but they often exceed an hour. Dragon's Fury and Rattlesnake seat just 4 riders per car, but due to a 300 kilogram or 661 pound weight limit per vehicle, most cars are sent out with just 2 or 3 riders. It is worth noting that Dragon's Fury used to have a single rider line, but this has not been in use post-pandemic, presumably because the weight restriction hampered its effectiveness. Mandrill Mayhem is a shuttle coaster with just 1 train. The low capacity was such a problem in its inaugural year that the park had to implement a virtual queue. It is a shame the park did not utilize a turntable or switch track to allow multi-train operations. This coaster does have a single rider line, and it can save a lot of time because most families want to ride together. Then Vampire used to run 3 trains, but now runs just 2. Given how the ride has a long layout with 2 lift hills, this leads to suboptimal capacity, especially because this is arguably the park's most popular coaster. I really hope the new coaster coming in 2027 is a high throughput, but I'm a bit skeptical if it is indeed an intimate multi-dimension coaster. Then the park's best non-coasters that I highlighted can get 30-ish minute waits as well. So how should you tour this park? Assuming you have a full day and did not pay for the skip the line pass, here is my recommended approach. Vampire and Dragon's Fury will get the 2 worst queues in the park. People will flood these rides immediately. If you're at the front of the rope drop crowd, I would ride one of these right away, save the other for the very end of the day. If you started with Vampire, hit Gruffalo next because you're right there. I then would prioritize Rattlesnake and Croc Drop. Those 2 rides are towards the back of the park and have minimal waits during that first hour. Afterwards, I would hit Tomb Blaster and Zoofari. Those are 2 other rides in the vicinity that should have much shorter queues than they'll get in the afternoon. This approach will allow you to knock out a handful of the park's major rides very quickly. Alternatively, you can splurge for the park's reserve and ride skip the line pass. There are a few different tiers. The lowest tier is called Virtual, and it costs £15 to £30 per person, with the higher prices on busier days. You wait virtually however long the main queue is posted. The next tier is called the Ultimate 8. This costs £30 to £60 per person. This gives you instant access to the park's 8 busiest attractions once each. The top tier is Ultimate. This costs £50 to £100 per person. You get near immediate and unlimited access to 23 different rides. Then there are single shots. These start at £6 to £8 per person per ride. I think the virtual tier is a great option given its relatively low price point for a skip the line pass. This allows you to comfortably tour the park, bypassing the long waits. and at this time, it includes everything found in the higher tiers. This can essentially double the amount you experience in a day. It just is not optimal if you want to marathon something over and over. You need the ultimate tier for that. How much time do you need at this park? If you're just a coaster enthusiast, I think you'll only want a half day at this park. But if you're a theme park fan and appreciate theming, you can easily spend a full day here, especially because it can take a while to get on everything. A lot of families seem to spend a full day here minimum, but quite a few spend 2 days here so they don't have to rush. Now let's talk about the arrival experience. This park is located in Chessington, England, which is 12 miles southwest of London. By car, it is a 60-minute ride from downtown London and a 30-minute journey from Heathrow Airport. If you're driving your own car, it'll cost £12 to park at Chessington. Alternatively, you can hail an Uber or taxi to the park, but that can get pricey. The most economical way to access the park is public transit. Just know, you'll likely have to use multiple bus and train lines depending upon where you're coming from. The closest train station is Chessington South, which is a 15-minute walk from the park. If you're using buses, both the 71 and 465 lines have stops directly at the park. If you are coming directly from the airport like me, you may have bags with you. Even if you're not staying overnight, the Chessington Safari Hotel can hold your bags. You can then walk to the park and enter through the back entrance. That hotel is a really nice option if you want to stay overnight near the park. It sort of reminds me of the Animal Kingdom Lodge. It has some fun theming, and it overlooks the zoo area. And you also get an hour of early entry in the morning, which allows you to experience some of the park's most popular rides with little to no wait. Rooms can approach the £300 range on weekends during school holidays, but you can find rooms for less than half that if you visit on weekdays, especially during the off-peak periods. Unlike some park hotels, the base rate does not include admission. That is an extra charge, but you can get in at a discounted rate if you bundle park tickets with the room. For everyone else, make sure to buy your tickets online. This will save you a lot of money. Day tickets cost £25 to £35 online as of this recording. Meanwhile, they cost over £60 at the gate. Both my visits have occurred during the summer period. This park is a fairly long operating season, with some festivities during the Halloween and Christmas seasons, but I cannot speak to those events from experience. The final thing I want to touch on is the food. This park is the pizza and pasta buffet that is a staple of the Merlin parks. This is a great option if you want a lot of food. Then, there's also a good fish and chips place in the park, which is not too surprising given that's a specialty of the UK. Just note the food is a bit pricier than other theme parks out there. So, do I recommend Chessington World of Adventures? Yes, especially if you have kids. This is a nicely themed park. There's a good variety in the lands. Then the attraction lineup is quite deep, as long as you are not expecting much in terms of thrills. I do wish the rides had better throughputs, but there are ways to mitigate this issue at least with a smart touring plan or reserve and ride. If you're a pure coaster enthusiast, the coasters here are worth checking out if you find yourself in the UK, especially because there's a good chance you'll have to fly in and out of London if you visit the UK. Dragon's Fury is a genuinely good coaster, and Mandrill Mayhem is a bizarre one-of-a-kind ride. I asked at the start if this was the best park in the UK for kids and families. It is certainly a strong contender. I prefer Chessington to the nearby Legoland Windsor. It feels more unique, and the coasters are better. However, I have not been to Paulton's Park. This is the one family park I could potentially see being better in the UK. I have heard very good things about that park in terms of the ride lineup and atmosphere. Plus, it does not suffer from the long queues that plague Chessington and Legoland. Those are my thoughts on Chessington World of Adventures. What are your thoughts on this park? Have you been there? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing. because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.